Hey there and welcome to Ablas. In this video, we'll look at the difference between tu, which is the informal and singular you, and vous, which is the formal or plural you. We'll go through all the scenarios you'll need to speak confidently, and there's a quick quiz to test your understanding at the end of the video. Be sure to download the PDF of today's lesson from the link in the description. Let's start by seeing when tu can be used in everyday life. Tu is used in the following situations: with family members, friends, and romantic partners. It's also used with peers. This could be fellow students, colleagues you know well, or even people at a party, and those in a similar age bracket to you. Teenagers, for example, would often use this form when speaking to other teenagers. It's also used when speaking to anyone younger than you, especially children, regardless of your relationship to them. And lastly, it's used when addressing animals like pets, praying to God, and towards inanimate objects, either affectionately or in frustration. Let's look at some examples using tu.
Mec, t'as encore pris ma voiture sans demander? T'abuses sérieux. Mec, t'as encore pris ma voiture sans demander? T'abuses sérieux.
Minou, t'as encore déchiré les rideaux. Mais je t'aime quand même. Minou, t'as encore déchiré les rideaux. Mais je t'aime quand même.
Tu veux que je t'aide à retrouver ta maman petit? Tu veux que je t'aide à retrouver ta maman petit?
The first speaker was talking to his brother, which explains the use of the informal you. In informal French, you might have noticed that tu as becomes t'as. This is a common contraction when we speak fast in French. The second person was talking to their cat. She said, Minou, t'as encore déchiré les rideaux. And lastly, we heard someone talk to a child, which is another reason to use tu. We've seen where tu can be used, so let's take a look at vous. Vous is used in other situations, such as the following. With strangers or people you don't know well, this could be a shopkeeper or a waiter in a restaurant. It's also used if you're speaking to those a lot older than you, as a way of showing respect. This also extends out to anyone else you should show respect to, be it teachers, employers, or officials, and in professional or formal settings. And lastly, this form is the correct way to address any group of people, regardless of your relationship with them individually. Now let's look at some example sentences with vous.
Excusez-moi, vous pourriez me dire où se trouve la pharmacie la plus proche? Excusez-moi, vous pourriez me dire où se trouve la pharmacie la plus proche?
Madame la directrice, je voudrais vous parler de notre projet marketing. Madame la directrice, je voudrais vous parler de notre projet marketing.
Les enfants, vous êtes prêts pour la photo de classe? Les enfants, vous êtes prêts pour la photo de classe?
In the first example, we heard someone asking for directions to the nearest pharmacy. Because he was asking a stranger, instead of saying, Excuse-moi, tu pourrais, he said, Excusez-moi, vous pourriez. The next example was spoken in a business context, hence the more formal tone. And the last one was a teacher speaking to a group of children. We saw earlier that when speaking to a child, we use tu, but since we're talking to a group of children, we need to use vous. Notice this sentence. Vous êtes prêts? There's an S on the end to indicate multiple people. If we were using vous to refer to just one person, there wouldn't be an S on the end. It can be difficult in some situations to decide which is the best form to use. Follow these steps if you're not sure. The first question is really simple. Are you talking to more than one person? If you are, then you'll always use vous. If not, then first check if it's an obvious situation. We covered a few common scenarios earlier in the video, but if you're still unsure, we'll move on to the next step. If you're with people around your age or the atmosphere is pretty relaxed, you might want to use tu. You can do this by simply asking them. On peut se tutoyer? On peut se tutoyer? Be prepared though, they might prefer to keep things formal. Je préfère qu'on se vouvoie. Here's a helpful tip. If someone starts using tu with you, it's usually okay to use it back. But there are some exceptions. For example, a teacher might use it with students, but students should still use vous with the teacher. And finally, if you're still not sure, just use vous. It's better to be too formal than too casual. You can always become more casual later. Now it's time to step into a real-life conversation.
Sophie est impatiente de fêter son anniversaire ce soir.
Elle est responsable marketing à Paris et discute en ce moment avec sa chef.
Bonjour Madame Lambert, vous voulez que je prépare les dossiers pour la réunion de cet après-midi?
Oui, Sophie. Et est-ce que vous pourriez appeler le client pour confirmer qu'il est toujours disponible? Nous avons besoin d'être sûrs de l'heure.
Alors que Sophie commence à travailler sur les dossiers, son jeune frère Tom l'appelle.
Salut Tom. Pourquoi tu m'appelles au travail? Tu sais que je suis très occupée le matin.
Et Frangine, j'ai besoin d'emprunter ta voiture ce soir. La mienne est encore au garage.
Pendant sa pause déjeuner, Sophie se retrouve perdue en faisant quelques courses.
Excusez-moi monsieur, vous pourriez me dire où se trouve le bureau de poste le plus proche? Je crois que je me suis trompée de chemin.
Bien sûr, c'est au coin de la rue Victor Hugo. Vous ne pouvez pas la manquer.
Enfin rentrée chez elle après une longue journée de travail, Sophie est accueillie par son chat avant de se préparer à organiser son dîner d'anniversaire.
Viens ici Misty. Tu m'as attendu toute la journée ma chérie?
Plus tard dans la soirée, ses invités arrivent pour le dîner.
Bonsoir à tous. Je suis ravie que vous ayez pu venir. Mettez-vous à l'aise?
Joyeux anniversaire toi.
So, did you understand the different scenarios in that conversation? Feel free to leave us a comment with any questions. But we're not done yet, it's quiz time. How should you address a group of your closest friends at a party? Do you use to? Or would you use vous? Or are both options correct? The correct answer is vous, because it's a group of people. Your family cat has knocked over a vase. What do you say? Tu as cassé le vase. Vous avez cassé le vase. Or are both options correct? The correct answer is tu as cassé le vase. This is because we always use to when speaking to animals. How would you ask someone if you want to use to? On peut se tutoyer? On peut se tutoyer? On peut se vouvoyer? The correct answer is on peut se tutoyer? Well done for getting this far. Now your task is to create a short dialogue between two strangers that eventually become friends. Think how they might change between tu and vous. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Our website is full of fun games across 7 languages, so head on over and put your skills to the test. Until next time, thanks for watching.